All right, everything is here. I ordered our curriculum, our workbooks, everything from The Good and the Beautiful the first day of the early bird sale, and it got here 2 days later, which is insane to me. But I love how fast it turned around. I love the fact that I'm able to unbox all of this and share it with you and still have time to get all of this out before the sale ends. So if you're thinking about grabbing anything or wanting to try out The Good and the Beautiful for this next school year, I highly recommend jumping on the sale now because it's going to end on the 17th. And after that, that is it. This is the only sale that they really do every year that's going to have as big of a discount as they do for everything across the board. So I'm gonna dive into it. I'm gonna share everything that we're using specifically from The Good and the Beautiful. And then in another video, I will kind of share our curriculum breakdown and all of that fun stuff too. I'm gonna go in no particular order and kind of take everything out. And then once I have it all organized, then I'll kind of go through and explain what is what per child, per grade level, all that fun stuff. So here's everything laid out per child, per grade level. So everything in here is going to be for my oldest, my 5th grader. This will be for my daughter for 4th grade. This will be for my middle son going into 1st grade. And then this will be for my youngest son going into TK or pre-K, whatever you want to call it. So this is everything that we have. I am missing a few things that we ordered with our charter funds. Mainly it's just workbooks to go along with the science units that we have, like the little activity books. I have PDF versions of all of those. And then I do have a few workbooks for her that I ordered for science. I think I got simple machines, safety, and paleontology. Or actually I think simple machines was considered religious, so I couldn't get that one, but I got 2 of the science workbooks for her. So those will be coming later, but this is the majority and this is everything that I personally ordered with the sale. Okay, so I'm just gonna dive into it. I'm gonna go oldest to youngest and kind of explain everything and then give maybe a little bit of a flip through. We'll see how things go. I'm really excited about this year because they're rolling out, or they did roll out, the updated versions of Language Arts 4 and 5, which is perfect because I'm going to have a 4th grader and a 5th grader next year. And so to have this updated version, especially since going through last year or this current year with my oldest in 4th grade, the language arts specifically was a little rough for us. And so I was talking to a few other mom friends and asking them their opinions, and they were saying the same thing. So the one that I was talking to specifically was saying that like she's just looking forward to this new updated version, especially since they rolled out their new spelling program that's going to go along with it, as well as their typing program that's coming soon. It just seems like the resources and everything that they poured into this update is going to really make up for all the things that we felt like there was issues with, or that it was lacking with. That is one of the things that I really love about The Good and the Beautiful, and one of the main reasons of why I'm sticking with them and just supplementing where need be, is because I feel like they're a brand and a business that is continuously listening to their customer base and altering their curriculum to make sure that it's providing what people are looking for. They don't want to have bad products, and so they are continuously changing, tweaking, updating. And I know some people might not appreciate that it changes over time, but I actually do. I don't mind getting the updated version every once in a while, and if it's going to help my kids grow and it's not something that I need to walk away from, language arts specifically, the books that they write to go along with the curriculum have been insane. They're beautiful stories. They have such great vocabulary to them, description, and I feel like in today's world with a lot of the book recommendations that people are reading, they're just bland and boring and my kids can't get into it. So the fact that we get to go throughout the school year of reading beautifully written books paired with their curriculum is another one of the main reasons of why I lean into this so much. So to dive into that, to start with language arts, since I have these on top, these are the 5 books that will go along with the curriculum this year. So we have The Legend of Wind Hollow. This is, I don't know what order it's going to go in. It doesn't have a number, so I'm not entirely sure if this is like correct. It has 18 chapters. It's 128 pages. And once they get to this grade level, they're not doing the back and forth of like mom reads a portion of the chapter and then you read it. They're reading it on their own. My son was actually doing that last year or this current year in 4th grade as well. 3rd grade, I think, is the last time that you're doing this like back and forth reading with them, but this is one of them. We have The Clockmaker's Son. This is 22 chapters, 185 pages. We have A Trickle of Water. This is part 1 is 17 chapters. Part 2, okay, so the entire book is 34 chapters, and this is 210 pages. In 5th grade is when they can dive into, Violet and the Volcanoes books that they have on the bookshop as well. So on top of all of this, they have so much to offer on the bookshop. Then we have Ice Storm. This is a little bit thinner than the other ones. This is going to be 14 chapters, 111 pages. And then Mystery of the Crying Caves, 18 chapters. I don't know why they didn't put chapter number. Oh, they did. They just didn't list it on the table of contents. 147 pages. So this is a lot of reading, and that is what I want for my oldest because he's not as strong in his literature as he is in math. And so having something that are good books that prompt him to do the reading, that have to go along with it, and are nice and thick, is exactly what I need. Now, I haven't really done any flip through with this because this is the launch of these, but this year the level 4 and 5 are going to come into 2 parts of the course book. So what I remember a little bit more from the video about the breakdown of this, but to just go through, I'm going to read from this about this course page just very quickly. So you have the answer key, which I have the physical copy of this. I believe it's just going to give you the specific pages that are going to have them filling something in. So it's not going to waste your time with like pages that are empty, but you're going to have simple things of like this entire thing. The only answer that you have is circling one thing that they're filling out an answer for. So I have the physical answer key. This is helpful. I'm not going to lie. It does come in handy. I have it for math 4 this year, and just being able to like check everything like this is good. So we have the answer key. Student pacing, we recommend having your child complete the course that aligns with their grade level. However, it is fine to complete the course that is a level above or below. You know your kid, you do what's best for them, basically. So we have typing. Although typing is not required for Language Arts 5, we recommend the students begin learning to type at this level. Starting in level 6, students will complete writing assignments on the app. We already needed to start typing for our charter school in 3rd grade. So we've been using Typing Club, I think, typingclub.com. So we've been using that, but I am excited for them to roll out their typing program to see the differences and see what the kids prefer. There are different watercolor projects in this one. In 4th grade, my son is doing pastels. So that was the art that he was creating with Language Arts level 4 this year. So it looks like this year, or next year, sorry, for level 5, they're going to be doing watercolor. So it gives you a breakdown of what they're going to need. They're going to need a set of watercolors, a palette, art paper, a number 6 pointed tip brush, a number 6 flat brush, a number 2 pointed tip brush, and a 1-inch flat brush. So it'll give you an example of everything as well for what you're going to need. This lesson, just like everything else that they have, is 120 lessons. It's broken down into 6 units And it looks like there is at least one project lesson in each unit, maybe two. One, two. Yeah, so there's 2 project lessons that they're going to go over in each unit. So they're not doing like watercolor paintings all the time, but it is spread out throughout the course. So this course book is going to go through lesson 1 through 62, I think is what I just saw. Yeah, 63. So we get through unit 63 in this first course book. Now to go through, I'm just going to pick a random one. So I'm looking at lesson 44. So you're going to have your parent-teacher reminder to check the work when the lesson is completed at the top. So we have just a tiny little note up there. Run-on sentences, optional app video. So it's going to tell you at the top that they can watch a video to go along with it. It's optional. Then it has a little blurb to say this is a new concept that they're going to be learning as well. So run-on sentences. It's going to go through the lesson. You have 3 practice examples for them to fix things. Then they're going to go through and edit more sentences with missing punctuation, coordinating conjunctions if needed to each run-on sentence. So more practice here. We're going to have reading and writing with a geography and art comprehension. So some questions they're going to circle the answers for and then write a response. Sensory language, sound. So you're going to have all this practice here. We have some flashcards in the app, which is a new thing that we haven't had before. You have some literature reading comprehension. They're going to be prompted to start reading a chapter or so from one of the books. So this one says read chapter 1 of A Trickle of Water. Then they're going to make a prediction. That is the prompt for here. And then we have vocab and reading skills. So this again is prompted. I think this is in the app. This is in the app. Then we have some spelling, complete 1 or more sessions of simply good and beautiful spelling. So they are going to be prompted to do that as well to finish off the lesson, I believe. Yep. So they finish off the lesson with the spelling program. At any time during the day, read a book from the Good and the Beautiful book list for 20 minutes. So since they were in, I want to say 2nd grade, they've been prompted to be reading something for at least 20 minutes daily. So that is a lot for the day, but honestly, I felt like before there wasn't as much practice. We're hitting grammar, we're hitting reading comprehension, writing, we have flashcards. So that's a little bit of geography there, literature, more reading comprehension, vocab, reading skills, spelling. All of that lumped into one lesson feels a lot more like covering all the bases of what we were kind of missing more of last year with level 4. So right off the bat, with just one lesson, pulling this open and looking at everything, I'm impressed. I'm looking at, let's see, just to flip through a little bit more. This is lesson 28. Some of these, they're also going to have prompts. I saw this with level 4. I wasn't entirely sure if they were going to have this with level 5, but they're going to start the lesson with a gratitude journal. So having that sprinkled in every few lessons as well for having some gratitude questions, a little checklist for them to go through and make sure that their spelling is correct. Having grammar, I see reading and writing in here. More reading comprehension with literature for them to read through. We have vocab and reading skills like before, but then we also have vocabulary review. This section reviews vocabulary words from the vocab and reading skills section. So they have all these vocab words I see here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 vocab words with the definition. And then they're going to go through on this side and it says circle the anonym for each word. An anonym is a word with opposite meaning. So each lesson isn't going to look exactly the same. There's going to be differences of them kind of hopping around between what is covered and what isn't. But I will say again, it looks like there's a good amount of balance with everything. Looking at the next lesson, this is 29. There's some review of grammar in the beginning. They have a prompt for reading and writing, reading one chapter from one of these books. And then we dive into options of writing, and this is deeper writing. So they have a step-by-step instruction, but then they're going to have a breakdown of a more detailed writing prompt that they're going to go through as well. So overall, I don't want to go through all the lessons, obviously, because that's a lot, but just flipping through and picking 3 of these to kind of dive into in the first book, this looks beautiful. I'm actually really excited about this and looking forward to it. To go through part 2, to just try and see what it's going to look like as you progress. Book discussions, you have an app video that they'll watch that will go over a book discussion of chapters 1 through 9 from The Legend of Wind Hollow. After listening to the discussion, complete the steps below. Then they're going to go through and they have a prompt for making Irish soda bread, and that's going to be the entirety of that lesson. So something a little bit more relaxing, but it feels kind of like a book club day where they get to have an activity like hands-on for them to do with it as well. So little things like that. Obviously, that's not every lesson. I think that that's a good balance of kind of sprinkling them in 2 per unit to have some time for them to just practice the comprehension of what they're reading, have a discussion, answer some questions that go along with an app too, so it keeps it more student-led and independent. I love it. That is everything for language arts. I have, like I said before, part 1 and part 2. I have the physical answer key, and I have the 5 chapter books that they're going to be reading this year. Then I wanted to go into more detail about this because this is newer. So then we have Math 5, very simple. I have a physical answer key here that's going to go through all of their work. We have mental math. This is very simple. It's just a little bit of review that they do with each lesson. The answer key is included in the book, so it's literally like the page right here, and then they can check their work. Most of it is supposed to be something they can do in their head, so they shouldn't need scratch paper for most of this stuff. I believe, at least that's how it was for the majority of his mental math this year. So that is going to be the situation. So with each lesson, once they complete lesson 4, it'll give them a prompt to go get a sticker from the back, and then they're going to put it in on one of these pages, and it'll tell them where on the graph it'll go, and then come the end of the course book, they'll have the photo created. So that's their mental math. They're supposed to start each lesson with working on their little questions for mental math. There's only maybe 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 questions. Sometimes they're a little bit longer, sometimes they're a little bit shorter, but that is how they start their lesson for math. In here, this is getting an update, I believe, in summertime. They weren't too specific about what's being updated. I'm assuming because it wasn't being promoted with the January video of everything that's rolling out this year. I think this might just be correcting certain errors they have, making little tweaks to things, and just having like a software update basically in physical form. So you have your mental math. There's always going to be a video lesson that they'll watch, and it'll give them a little bit of prompts of things to work on when they're watching the video. They have a mini lesson of some practice work, and then they have a tiny bit of review. At this point, they should have their multiplication memorized, so it's not going to continue like we had in this level 4 last year or this current year for them to be practicing multiplication. So with that said, I'm probably going to continue to have him work on the musical multiplication, flashcards and review and everything, just to stay up with it, because I know how important it is finishing out level 4 as well as going into level 5 of having those like fully memorized. So I'll continue that, but that's more of just like fitting things that work with him and where he's at. Last few things I have, we have handwriting, nothing too fancy about this. They are working on cursive at this point, so we're working on more like sentences as well as some of the letters. This is the beginning, so as they get a little bit farther into everything, this is one of the, so they're gonna write an entire poem, and then we get to an evaluation where it's just practicing more of like perfecting their letters and stuff, and then it just goes through like that with a lot of practice. I probably have them do 1 to 2 pages a day, or if we break it up, kind of just depends on like how our schedules go. Mondays right now are very busy, so we don't have a lot of time in the morning to do some independent work. So sometimes we'll do like, okay, do 2 things of handwriting, 2 pages of handwriting 3 times a week, and then we're good. Last, for my oldest, I have 2 electives that I grabbed for this year. We are doing Music 1 Appreciation. I've had a lot of people ask me what I think about it, and I had to tell people, I don't have it. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, but I've had some friends that have already grabbed it, and they're really enjoying it. It looks like you play a video for each lesson, and the fact that they just get to kind of like sit and the video is teaching the lesson, and they just have a little bit of notes to go through, something to fill out. I have a friend who is using these and just like photocopying and going to continue to just duplicate. That way no one's writing in this book. But for me, because my kids like the little things like the elective badge book, at the end of an elective and the workbook, they get to take these stickers off and add them to their book. So I got 1 for each kid. So you can just skip the elective books and you can just take this, keep this on hand, especially if you have multiples, and photocopy them. That way this stays intact and you can use it over and over again, or you can order books separately for your kids. So I went a little above for them, but I have our Music 1, and then for my oldest, I have Drawing 1. Technically it says for grades 5 and up. He's just more of an artist, so this is more of his thing. That's why I didn't get 1 for my daughter. We're gonna do Music 1 together between the 2 of them, but drawing is more his thing. And this is going to dive into all the nitty gritty. So it's not just like one of those like how-to draws. It's not one of those Art for Kids hub. Like, he's getting more into it, and to have more detail and structure of everything, this is more his speed. And I'm excited to see how much his artwork just transforms over this next year, diving into this elective. Same thing at the very end of the book. He has his sticker that he'll add to his elective book. We have a lot more that we're looking forward to that will be rolling out this summer and the end of the year in 2026, elective-wise, that will be building off of all of this. Jenny Phillips said that she's wanting to have like over 110 electives in the next few years. So they're really working hard on this. So I'm excited to see what else they have. I know Music 2 and 3 is supposed to come out. Drawing 2 might be coming out too. They had a good list. I think they had like baking, oil painting, some other stuff, but it's a very wide range of electives that they're going to be offering and rolling out within just this next year. That is everything for level 5. Now I'm going to dive into level 4. So for here, we have new books again that are going to be paired with level 4 language arts. We have Nettie's Letters. This is, I mean, in comparison of all, there's 3 of them. You've got some pretty thick books here. So Nettie's Letters, we have, this is 50 chapters, 344 pages. We have Whisper Creek. This is 38 chapters, 186 pages. I'm seeing a little bit more, yeah, so we're starting off with some, each chapter is going to have challenging words and vocabulary list, some words that they're going to go through, read just in preparation, and it looks like we do have, this one is going to be the back and forth of like the student will read, the parent or the teacher will read. I didn't pay attention if that was in here too. No, so I'm assuming we'll probably start with this one and then they'll graduate into the books where they'll read on their own. This is Leo and the Lighthouse, 3 parts, 49 chapters, 332 pages. This again is a little bit bigger of text in comparison to the first one, but completely independent. So if I had to just guess, I'm going to assume it's probably going to go Whisper Creek, Leo and the Lighthouse, and then Nettie's Letters based off of just bigger text. This one's a little bit smaller text and more like condensed. and a lot in it when you're going just even thickness wise. So diving into language arts, this is also going to have 2 parts to it, 2 course books. Lesson breakdown. A typical lesson includes the following sections. Read together book, units 1 through 3. So units 1 through 3, you'll do this Whisper Creek Read Together book. Apart from checking your child's work every day, this is the only parental involvement needed in this course. We believe parent time can be utilized most effectively in this joyful area. This book is designed to be several levels higher than a 4th grade reading level and to challenge the child because they are reading with your help. Love it. Then when we get to units 4 through 6, starting halfway through the course, the section takes the place of Read Together book and is completed on the app. See the Language Arts 4 vocab and reading skills intro video in lesson 60 for more details on vocab and reading skills section. Parents have the option to complete the echo reading passage with their child instead of using the app. Okay, so that's going to dive into the reading and vocab and reading skills. Then we have grammar. The grammar part includes usage, sentence structure, punctuation, capitalization, and more, and connects to the unit theme and message. New concepts are indicated with an orange icon sign shown at the left and marked the very first time they are taught in this level. So we saw the same new concept icon in the level 5 books as well. Then you have optional videos on the app to help the student learn these new concepts. They'll have the same image of optional app video icon if there's prompting for that. We have reading and writing, literature, spelling, project lessons, unit assessments. You have optional songs. Some grammar concepts have optional songs on the app to help with reinforcement. Concepts that have an accompanying song are indicated with the musical note icon as shown here. Spelling philosophy, creating good writers, and the answer key. Okay, I'm not going to read through everything. Student pacing, typing, supplies needed. So then it'll also go through, it looks like we're doing watercolors in this as well. So I don't know I think that's probably what they're doing. I remember hearing something about the oil paintings. So I'm going to assume they probably moved the pastels to a separate elective and they're just going to do watercolors in level 4 and 5 as the projects now. Looking at this, we have 6 units as well, and it looks like we have 2 project lessons per unit as well. So unit 1, lesson 2. There's prompts. You're going to complete chapter 2 of Whisper Creek, a read together book. Yep, so there we go. That's the first one. Check the child's work. So they are going to start off with a little gratitude journal prompt. We have some grammar in here with an optional app video and some practice. We have reading and writing, the power of poetry. So you have a little bit of prompts of reading poetry with some answers at the bottom. And then we have spelling prompts, same thing. They're going to use the spelling program and then to do their daily reading. So it looks like actually they're going to be doing some reading of both books on their own as well as together. So we'll do the reading of Whisper Creek with them, but they'll also on their own be reading Leo and the Lighthouse simultaneously in one lesson. So that's cool. Yeah, so same thing with the level 5. It's just going to be a little bit more of like covering all of their bases in between each lesson. Gratitude journal I'm seeing at the beginning of most of these lessons, but definitely spread out. It's not, we have a little bit of writing prompts in here for more extensive writing. It looks good to me. So we've got part 1, part 2. I have the answer key in here for that. That's everything for the new level 4. Then level 4 math, we have the mental math, the answer key, and the course book. So in here, same thing with level 5, you're just gonna have your video that they'll watch to start the lesson. They have the mini lesson that kind of continues with the video of what they were talking about. This kind of just like reinforces everything in a written form versus video. And then you have your lesson practice and some review. Here in level 4, they're still going to be working on multiplication practice and reviews and stuff. So she will as well be working on musical multiplication. She's been doing that this year already, but it'll just be continued. We have our handwriting in level 4, and here it's cursive as well as some print. So you can see we've got some cursive practice here as well as some printing practice here. Same thing, either once a day or a few times a week. We have our elective badge book and then music appreciation for her. The electives are going to be just for grades 3 through 8, like the science unit studies and everything as well. So I only have that for these kids. Let's dive into my next one for level 1. I can't believe he's going to be graduating kindergarten. We have our language arts literature level 1. I already have the booster cards and books, so I didn't buy the whole bundle. I just bought the course book because that's the only thing I needed this time. 120 lessons. We have 3 units, I believe. Yep, 3 units in here. He loves the app games for the booster games on the app. And yeah, this is a little bit more work than what he is used to from kindergarten, which is going to be perfect. We're still going to go through it, but I love that we're getting into more of this while both of my kids are doing more independent work. So I'm going to have a lot more time to be able to just sit down and do more of the parent-led work with him and my youngest. So to go through, we have a little bit of they're going to go through the different spelling rules and all of that stuff. We have booster cards that we're going to work on. He's going to do the booster games. He has all these prompts of reading still, a little bit of independent practice, and then some prompts of, so even in first grade, we're working on 10 minutes or more of reading a book from the Good and the Beautiful bookshop. I have a ton of kindergarten and first grade books for him, so we're going to have a good year. That is for level 1 language arts. We have our handwriting. This is going to be more beginning print. It's nothing too crazy, just still practicing our letters and everything. Writing some sentences. We do a lot of copy work, so we're getting a lot of practice in. And then we have math 1. Same thing. I already have the math box for it, so I didn't need all the things. I just needed a course book. This again is going to be a little bit more depth to it in comparison to kindergarten, but I have a little bit more time on my hands now that my older 2 are older. So that's everything for level 1 for him. And then for my last, I have our Kinder Prep course book. This is only 20 lessons. How many are in here? Lessons 1 through 30. So there's 30 lessons in this bad boy. And then after that, we can just dive into kindergarten. So I'm going to wait and see how long this takes us to get through everything. But I think I'm also going to do story school from Treehouse again in tandem with this, just as more practice and reading and just really just drawing out the preschool phase for me, because I'm also grieving a little bit. I can't believe that he's going to be this old to do all of this stuff, but we're going to go through this. Once we're done with that, I will most likely start diving into the kindergarten course book probably mid-year, if it even takes that long to get through this. So we'll see how long that lasts. And then I just got part 1 for now, again, to see how long it takes to go through these things. But we just have a little pre-writing doodles for littles. So nothing crazy. It is just more of follow the lines, tracing and everything. Not as much of practicing writing their name or anything crazy like that. But I will say we've had morning menus for years now, and he does trace his name on the morning menus and loves to do that. So we're just going to go at his pace and see how he feels about it. So this is part 1. I have part 2 for my 5, soon to be 6-year-old right now somewhere, but I just wanted to share everything that we ordered. So this is everything. It's a full unboxing and haul of everything that we got. Like I said, I have a lot more of the activity books that go with the science unit studies that are more K through 2nd grade. So I have those that I can print out for those 2 when we do any of our science. We're going to do safety again this year. And I'm not entirely sure what else. I have a lot. I think we have done space science. We've done paleontology, but we might do that one again over the summer. Not entirely sure. Those are the things that I'm still figuring out. But in regards to language arts and math, I am covered. Everything is good. And I hope you enjoyed. If you are interested in getting any of this stuff, like I said before, I highly recommend jumping on the sale before it's over. It ends on Tuesday, March 17th. This is a lot. 15% off goes a long way, and this is the only sale that they do. It is like a once a year thing. So if you're thinking about stocking up and grabbing what you need, I definitely recommend grabbing it while there is a discount, because they don't really do sales for anything else. Maybe sometimes if they're rolling out new products. The only time I really see discounted products on their site is when they're getting ready to phase things out and replace it with something new. Like what we had with the language arts. I think they had a period of time where they were selling all that stuff. The Math 4, Math 5, one of these. I got the like outdated version because they're going to release the new one in like a couple of months. I didn't think it was that big of a deal looking at how they were kind of proposing it. It didn't seem like it was going to be like a brand new rollout. It seemed more like a update. So I didn't really care all that much, so we got that. But yeah, if you're thinking about anything or if you have any questions before you make any purchases, definitely let me know. I'm happy to answer things in comments. Or if you've ever reached out to me, then you know I am a voice memo girly. So if you ever want to just reach out in DMs on Instagram or anything, I can yap your ear off all day long. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm excited to dive into this next school year. Let me know what you're thinking about getting. Maybe a giveaway or something for something simple like the elective books or an elective for your kids for the year. I'm curious to know what you guys kind of have your eyes on as well.